In this day and age, we as humans have reached a low point in what's called food literacy. Food literacy is the understanding of the impact of your food choices in your health, the environment, and our economy. Uninformed ideas about where our food comes from can be attributed to many factors, from food availability through restaurants and supermarkets to the fact that farm and ranch families make up only 2% of the US population. The truth is, not many Americans know that our food system can be linked to a variety of issues, including climate change, deforestation, and water waste. At the beginning of 2018, the U.S. Department of Agriculture predicted that the average American would consume 222.2 pounds of red meat and poultry throughout the year, a record jump in American meat consumption even compared to rates from 2016 and 2017. Although the USDA has observed that Americans have gradually drank less milk since the 70s, the average person still drinks around 18 gallons a year. Meanwhile, cheese consumption has continued to rise, with the average being 23 pounds of cheese per year. Along with not knowing how much food we're consuming each year, many Americans do not know how all of this food is brought to the dinner table. Foods like hamburgers, hot wings, hot dogs, and steak all contain meat. This meat can be traced all the way back to livestock. This livestock requires land, water, and food. A lot more land, water, and food than you'd think. A pound of beef requires 1,799 gallons of water to produce. A pound of chicken requires 468 gallons of water. And 1 pound of pork requires 576 gallons of water. To put this in perspective, a full bathtub is about 36 gallons of water. Using 1 pound of beef would be equivalent to taking about 50 baths. While around 2/3 of the world's population face severe water scarcity for at least 1 month a year, 1/3 of world water consumption is used for producing animal products, a water footprint larger than that of crop products with equivalent nutritional value. It may not be apparent, but animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation because of the large amounts of land needed for grazing livestock and growing animal feed. Around 137 plant, animal, and insect species are lost every single day because of this extreme deforestation. Today, livestock covers 45% of Earth's total land, with 1/3 of land being chronically degraded because of a decrease in soil productivity. This degraded land often leads to a displacement of people, as land they once lived on is no longer suitable to use. Although it's often dismissed by many, climate change is one of the greatest threats facing the planet. Animal agriculture plays a horrifying role in climate change, mainly because methane is a natural byproduct of livestock production. Methane is in fact more deadly than any carbon dioxide emission because of how effectively it absorbs heat as it's released into the atmosphere. An individual cow emits approximately 150 gallons of methane per day. With about 1.5 billion cows currently living on Earth, a whopping 225 billion gallons of methane are released into the atmosphere every day. 51% of all global greenhouse emissions are due to livestock and their byproducts. Despite it being such a large issue, there are many ways to combat these effects of animal agriculture. Turning to plant-based food alternatives and reducing animal product consumption proves to truly make a lasting impact on the environment. Crops take significantly less amounts of water and land to produce than livestock. 1 pound of potatoes requires 110 gallons of water. This means we could produce about 17 pounds of potatoes with the same amount of water it takes to produce 1 pound of beef. 1 acre of land could sustain enough cows to turn out roughly 250 pounds of beef. Meanwhile, that same acre could produce nearly 20,000 pounds of potatoes. If vegan diets were adopted by everyone worldwide, global farmland use could be reduced by 75%, leading to a significant drop in greenhouse gas emissions and a reopening of land lost to agriculture for endangered species. According to researchers at Oxford University, cutting meat and dairy products from your diet could reduce your carbon footprint from food by 73%. Despite the current low percentages of Americans who adhere to vegan or vegetarian diets, engaging everyday consumers in animal product reduction efforts isn't extremely difficult. By producing plant-based equivalents of animal products and making them increasingly accessible, consumers will be more likely to accept sustainable foods that are not noticeably different from foods they are currently eating. After consumers become more engaged in food choices and actively work on reducing animal product consumption, more plant-based meals can be introduced and normalized. Because we still live in a society where meat and dairy alternatives are not always available, providing viable options for individuals that take roles in cultural change can make a major difference. Next time you go to the store, look for plant-based products to try for yourself. Not only will you get the chance to bite into a delicious veggie burger, but you'll have the opportunity to help the planet.